GS Orb is something that's highly requested of me to make a video on. As you guys know, I play GS Orb on the Hyperboost server, and I've been having a lot of fun with it. And a lot of you guys just comes to my stream, ask for a build, and I've been telling you guys that the build is not fully ready yet, but you guys want the build I'm already using. So I'm going to make this video showing you guys what I'm using currently. It is not even close to perfection yet, but it's somewhere where you guys can start. I am still working on it and testing out different things and skills and talents and stuff. So eventually it's going to get really good, but this is what it is currently at and what I see for me with the cost log. So let's just jump into it. Okay, let's look at this build, yo. So we're going to take a look at the skills first, because that's I feel like the base stuff right now is to kind of figure out the skills. And what I have currently figured out is you want to be using the orb as a kind of a buffer. So we have some certain skills here which are really good for the orb, which is the summon constellation, and it boosts damage against monsters, so it's extremely strong for PvE. And then we have this one, the amplification whale, which grants yourself a shield and a health boost while the shield is intact, boosts base damage by 50%. Right now we have really high base damage, especially with really good gear and potentially tier 3 gear and the tier 3 weapons, so it's gonna get really good damage wise. And then you of course have the supernova collapse, which is just extremely strong, but it has a long cooldown skill, so that is a pretty nice skill. And then you just follow up with the void slash, because it does a lot of damage where the orbs are, because this skill right here, summon constellation, if you cast this, it will put to 3 orbs. So you don't have to try to put your orbs there yourself. So this is already going to stay there. So your Supernova Collapse and your Void Slash can be used on top of this for the extra damage. And then when you have your boosted damage, what I will do is I'll pop my combo, which is basically this combo. And then once I pop this combo, I'm just going to go and sneak, and this will boost. I will come look, all my guillotine is ready again. My deploy is ready again, and I can just use the same combo again. So that's basically the gist of it. Now, if you're in PvE and you have a player using Deadly Marker, it does really good damage. The problem becomes when you do the combo twice. So let's say I'm going to start my combo here, right? So I'll do this. And then I'll sneak. Alright, and it's going to get off cooldown. And here, since this is not ready, I'm just going to spawn the normal orbs. This is when it becomes a problem. When you use a second combo, you get the long cooldowns, and then you can use the death blow, but you still have to wait for the cooldowns. So when you're playing solo, that's the main problem that I'm having. And then with higher cooldown speed, probably it can be a little bit faster, and I can get them quicker. But when you're playing PvE and somebody has Deadly Marker, it works really well. So I have to kind of figure out what I will do with that. And to see how much damage I do, you guys can look at Secret Dungeon right now, and I am currently rank 1 as SNS Orb, and I was rank 1 on the last one too. So this is definitely working. There's some capacity, but it definitely needs a little bit more work to see if I can make it perfected. And I can definitely see the skills work a little bit better. If you guys want to look at my specialization right now, I have these specializations on the orb. My face is probably covering some here. This is what I'm currently using. I changed some things up when I'm farming and stuff. I can put Restoring Constellation for some heals, Guardian Defensive Wall if I need to, but this is what I use for like pure DPS build. And this is on my Greatsword right now. This is what you will basically use. And then the passives, I'm still working on the passives. You don't need Barbarian Dash. I just use it because I like to use Barbarian Dash to run a little bit faster. It's not required, but you kind of need your Victor's Morale and your Stellar Cycle for now for the mana. But maybe if you have enough mana region, you can drop out one of these passive skills too. So these are like the abilities that I use. The masteries I'm currently using, I'm still working on them. But the weapon mastery is just level 107. My plan is to get a Blade Harvest for the healing leech. I think I really like it. With the damage that I do, I think I can heal a lot with Blade Harvest on. So this is my plan. But of course, getting like the DPS ones are really important. And then for this, I want to get, I think it is Stellar Cycle. I'm not sure. But Refracture is really good to have. I put my points in this. And then Stacking Echo. And then we have Resonant Heavy Attack. So I'm just going to put into the DPS stuff. But this is also a work in progress for the masteries itself. So that is basically my plan. And now let's talk about the build, because builds are a little bit easier to take a look at. Because when it comes to the builds themselves, I will put my quest log below, so you guys can take a look at them if you guys want to. But if we can get them up here, it would be nice. Okay, so here is my build right now. Let's see here. We have GS Orb. It says GS Orb not ready. And it's because, of course, again, work in progress, and the runes are maxed here, so you don't see like actual stats, but this is kind of what I'm building. I'm going for the Greatsword Heroic because I already have the Heroic Greatsword on my main. And then we have the Narzetum Orb of Reaping. When you're using Summon Constellation, the Milky Way skill can be used one time within 6 seconds. So that's what I just used earlier, which is the Summon Constellation skill. Can use the Milky Constellation to get the additional damage, which is pretty nice. So I think the orb already, the T2 epic, T3 epic orb is pretty good. I already have the helmet, so I'm going for the helmet. You can go something else if you want to, like pants or something else, because yeah, the Blood Hunter carb helmet I think is very decent. And then you have the ring is what I'm going for. You can also swap this out, but my current build, there's 2 builds to build this in my opinion. And I really like the stats. I want the wisdom to be a little bit higher to almost 80. But with this build, it has the crit chance, a critical damage, which is really nice with the Greatsword and with the orb. And then you have the imbued pendant frozen, and you can get more damage here. I have like melee hit stuff on right now, but you can change this. Like this is from old builds, so you don't want to have melee heavy. You want to kind of have heavy attacks, so you can get them on both. So there's some runes you can change out. This cloak is kind of best, so you kind of want it, unless you can get like the cloak of piercing, which I most likely won't be able to get. So we're gonna go with this. Some of these are really expensive. You can also swap out the Blood Hunter if you want to, if it's really hard to get, for the Imperial set. That's also a workaround. It also gives crit damage, which is nice. But that is the idea of what I'm building. Now I'm thinking about also building it very similar to how my potential Glad build will be, which will be the spear, so I can swap between spear and orb whenever. But the spear build is more focused on heavy attack chance per strength. On a heavy attack, you can use heavy attack damage. So I think both sets can work with the orb. But the nice thing about the Blood Hunter set is it gives wisdom, right? So it's easier to build your wisdom a little bit up for the mana, for the cooldown speed, for the base damage. But there's most likely I'm gonna probably build Fallen Dynasty first, and then maybe swap to the Blood Hunter hands later, because this will work for both my spear and orb. But I do think orb will be competitive. You guys want my honest opinion on it? Is it plays? I don't see how it will play worse than GS Spear. I think orb is really OP, and it suits really nice with the skills of the Greatsword. So I don't see it being bad at all. I think it's gonna be pretty decent, and when people start figuring out more stuff, I think it's gonna be absolutely crazy. So if you give me like a week or two, I think I can build a pretty nasty build with this. The damage in PvE is gonna be really good, and I think for PP it's gonna be really decent too. It's not gonna be close to like crossbow orb or like staff orb. Unfortunately, it's the same thing that we had like GS Spear. It was still good and it was still competitive, but there's certain classes that will always be stronger, so you're never gonna get that from the GS Orb. But I think it's gonna be a very like A tier decent DPS to have with you and very fun to play. So that's like the idea of it. If you want to have like a crazy high dealing damage, top on the charts, everything, you're not gonna enjoy this class, I don't think. Artifacts real quick. I am going with the full chaos set, of course, for the critical damage. So that is the idea of building. The most important thing is when you're building on your runes is to remember, don't build melee, build heavy attack because it's magic and attack damage, or build critical hit, don't build melee critical hit, all that stuff, right? So that is the idea behind it. Let me know what you guys think. Are you going to be checking out a GS Orb? I wish you gave it a cooler name, because they call us Justiclar. Like, that's crazy. Justiclar, really? That's all we're getting. But that's the idea. Right now, I would highly suggest you guys just focus on your T2, focus on your build, and then slowly start building your tier 3. At least get the tier 3 orb. That's my plan. At least I'm gonna get the tier 3 orb and level it up. So we'll see what happens from there. But thank you so much for watching. Check out this video right here. I will be streaming almost every day at Throne of Liberty, so you guys can come and ask questions. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.